up, and all of a sudden I heard somebody say hi to me, and it sounded like a woman's voice. So I looked up, and shockingly, it was Blake Lively. Seriously, you're gonna call me fat? Like, really? After you just put in your complaint against Justin Baldoni, something about a comment he made about your weight?
Which, you guys, this is the most insane Blake Lively story I've heard, and we need to talk about it. Blake was staying at this hotel in Waco, Texas, and this girl made a series of TikToks describing her experience being at the same hotel, where she claims Blake and her team allegedly trolled, harassed, and even fat-shamed her afterward. Her name's Kate says she made a TikTok account after people in her life encouraged her to tell her side of the story. According to her, she and her mom were on a mother-daughter trip in Waco. Blake, by the way, was in town for South by Southwest. Kate says when they checked into the hotel, the staff was buzzing about a VIP guest arriving during their stay. Everyone seemed to know someone big was showing up. Later during their trip after dinner, the vibe shifted like something was about to happen. That's when they were told by a hotel staffer that if they stayed in a certain area, they'd probably catch a glimpse of the VIP. So she and her mom camped out, and sure enough, Blake Lively arrived. Clip.
Did you like Lively? Don't look up.
Like I said, this video was very insignificant. It's 18 seconds. It's her walking in, looking up, admiring the hotel. You can clearly tell it's her and her voice, and her face if you do the work. And then she walks over, notices us, puts up her hand, and asks to grab a hat. And that's all that's on video.
She also says she noticed Blake had her kids with her, and each child had a nanny, which stood out considering Blake and Ryan's whole "we don't use nannies" image. But here's where it gets weird. On the day they were checking out, Kate says Blake randomly came up to her, said hi, and then recorded her on her phone. Not only that, Blake's security also filmed Kate's car and license plate. Kate said it was so strange that she ended up posting about it on her Instagram story. In a turn of events this weekend, I added personally pissed off Blake Lively to my celebrity encounters. She randomly appeared out of the hotel, came up to our car, said hi to me to get my attention, and then recorded my mom and I with her phone as we were checking out, before dashing back inside with her security.
My mom and I had just checked out of the hotel. Everything seemed like kind of normal, except for, the whispers and the commotion was still going on, which is to be expected when there's a celebrity staying there, I guess. Again, her security person was kind of like all over the place. So as we're checking out at the front desk, just briefly wrapping things up, did notice that the security guard was now all of a sudden downstairs in the lobby. Didn't really think anything of it. Obviously, there's a lot of, people move in, her kids, nannies, whatever was going on that day. The server had made it seem like maybe the meeting that she was having with Joanna Gaines was on Sunday, or maybe, the next few days or whatever. Not sure how long they were planning to be there for. So we walk outside. The valet person has our car ready to go. We, walk up to the car, start loading up, and all of a sudden I heard somebody say hi to me, and it sounded like a woman's voice. So I looked up, and shockingly, it was Blake Lively. She said hi to me to get my attention so I would look up at her, and I instinctively just said hi back because what do you say? She has her phone up recording us. Her and then her security guard comes out. They start circling my mom's car, getting the car on film, the license plates, our faces, everything. It all happened so fast. So we were just like, what the heck? So we got in the car. The security guard, I think she maybe passed her phone off to the security guard. My mom said, I wasn't really paying attention because I was like, what the heck is going on right now? What are they doing? And I think she ran back inside. I don't know where she came from, where she popped out from. She obviously was exposing herself to everyone for, just to get us on camera. I don't know what was happening, but the security guard then came up on the passenger side and was still recording. And then he, went back inside. And then we just left. It was what do you do? It was the weirdest thing ever, most bizarre thing that's ever happened.
She started speculating about why Blake or her team might have reacted that way. Maybe they were suspicious of her because she had recorded a little video when Blake walked through the lobby. Or maybe it was because she noticed the nannies with the kids, something Blake and Ryan are famously private about. She posted on her story saying she thought the hotel's security camera might have caught her filming while she and her mom were camped out on a couch, which the front desk had actually encouraged so they could spot the VIP. But then things got weird. Suddenly, random accounts started viewing her Instagram stories, Some of them were even calling her out for filming what was apparently just a video of her and her boyfriend. The timing was strange, and something about the accounts felt connected. Whether it was to Blake's team or the hotel staff, she couldn't be sure, but it didn't sit right.
That's when I noticed that I started getting strange views on my stories, like people that didn't follow me and that like I didn't recognize, like, you know, a bunch of views. Like it wasn't just like one person, you know, maybe had like a mutual connection and somehow found me. I don't know. It was like a bunch of people, and this was the first person I noticed. So it says right there, Hotel GM. So I was like, that's weird. So I was like, I wonder if she's like connected to Hotel 1928 somehow. Searched her on Google, and she came right up on LinkedIn here. So you can see her name there, Hotel General Manager at Hotel 1928. So I was like, what the heck? Like, why is the GM of the hotel looking at my stories? That's when I also noticed that there was incognito accounts that were starting to pop up looking at my stories too. I was like sharing things here and there. You can go look at my Instagram highlight. I've got, you know, everything that I've shared on there saved to a highlight. So you can see kind of like what I was posting. I was just kind of, you know, talking about the case and just things in general, trying to make connections, like things like that. But so these started popping up, viewing my stories, and I was like, this is weird. So I started like hiding them all and blocking these people because I was like, this is super weird. Like, why are these people that I do not know stalking me? So this was one of the things that I shared on my stories. I just like was looking for, you know, things that I thought were interesting on just Google. So this one says Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds don't use nannies for the 4 children. This looked like it was, you know, this is like a recent thing, recent article or whatever, basically just praising them for not using nannies. And I thought this was so interesting because they were very clearly with nannies on this trip. And their children. And so, yeah, so I posted that, and then, what do you know? This person pops up having viewed my stories. So curious, of course, because I didn't know this person. I clicked on her profile and it said something about New York. And I was like, no way. Like, she kind of resembled like the nanny, one of the nannies that we saw with the kids. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's literally no way that Blake Lively's nanny would be looking at my Instagram stories. Sure enough, searched her name on Facebook. This came up right away as public information. Works at nanny, household manager, family assistant.
Kind of sounded like the hotel may have handed over this girl's information to Blake's team or security. Maybe under the guise of a safety precaution. But instead of ending there, it turned into what she describes as full-on online harassment. What started as something that could have been a quick safety check spiraled into a bizarre digital situation that felt invasive, unnecessary, and honestly kind of creepy.
Then I see this person named Molly Sage pop up on my views, and I was like watching them like a hawk at this point, like just to see like who else was looking at my stories that could possibly be connected to her. So this girl looked at all my stories, and then I noticed like she was gone, like when I went back, but I still had her in like my recent like search history, and so like I couldn't figure out the connection, like hadn't gone to Blake Lively's page or anything like that. I was talking with my friend about it. And then she goes to Blake Lively's page and searches the name. And sure enough, Blake Lively follows her. Then after a quick Google search, my friend found that she is literally Blake Lively's social media person.
She wasn't quiet about any of it either. She actually called them out directly on her Instagram stories. She said, and I quote, "No, but tell me why the hotel general manager and a bunch of random incognito accounts are stalking me right now." And then pointed out that some of those accounts were linked to New York, where Blake and Ryan live.
This account looked at my stories, all of them. And again, it popped up as like potential spam. Mommy vacay married on 11/11/23. So if you don't know, my wedding date was 11/11/23. And the reason for our stay on our reservation with the hotel was like a mother-daughter, mommy-daughter vacation. I'm not sure exactly what words my mom had put on there, but this made it very clear that the Hotel 1928 staff had given all of our personal information to Blake and her team, and they were now using this against me as like a scare tactic or, whatever. But this was very clearly now like bullying and harassment from Blake Lively and her team. So in this, I mentioned like, do they not realize that these accounts can be traced back to them? Because that is a very easy thing to come out. So there's a couple things that you can do to kind of get information about an account. You can click the 3 dots, and I think it says about this account. It'll tell you the month and the year that the account was made. And then also, if it's just made like brand new within the last few days, it'll show that new mark right there. So, that's information that you can find out about the account. And then also, of course, like Instagram would know what phone number or email address the accounts are linked to. And this could be, subpoenaed in court, whatnot, all that. And found out and very clearly linked back to her team. And likely the people doing this, I imagine Blake Lively herself is not doing this from her phone. If she was, that would be, a whole nother level, like Blake Lively personally bullying and harassing me for recording her in a public hotel. But I have a feeling it's likely the, PR people, social media people that have the time on their hands to be doing this. Like, this is literally their job to, attack people that are, maybe going against Blake Lively in this case.
Even weirder, the usernames started matching things she had posted herself. And the part that really crossed the line, someone actually made an account called Fat and Not Fabulous. That's when she realized it wasn't just paranoia. It felt like they were mocking her.
I previously deleted this selfie because I was like, whatever, it said Team Justin Forever, not really relevant. Then I ended up reposting it, as you can see here. Reposted the selfie, and I put, basically called them out because I, picked up on what they were doing. So they were naming their stalking pages after, what I was posting, basically. So then, after I reposted that selfie, this account popped up, Fat and Not Fabulous. And so at all of these accounts, basically the only reason that I was finding them is because they were purposely looking at my stories. Obviously, some of them wanted to, remain incognito, like the lawyer and Molly Sage, because they were blocking me afterwards. But I caught it because I was looking at the stories and looking at my views. But this was uncalled for. Seriously, you're going to call me fat? Really? After you just put in your complaint against Justin Baldoni, something about a comment he made about your weight, which, supposedly happened, which probably did not happen. But yeah, so it marked it as spam. And then every time I saw one of these, I would block.
What makes this even more insane is how these accounts somehow traced back to Blake, or at least someone in her circle. Some were following people she follows. It's just wild, and honestly, to make up a story this layered, it would be a reach. I mean, she had details about everything. The hotel layout, the vibe, the room numbers, even the doors. This girl was not throwing out random claims. But for Blake's team to allegedly be behind these fake profiles, it makes you wonder for what. I get if her security was being cautious, yeah, maybe the girl and her mom were hanging around the lobby, and maybe security wanted to be alert, even jot down the car plate just in case. But that's one thing. Taking it to the level of creating burner Instagram accounts and creeping on her stories. That's not security. That's creepy. That's calculated. And if it really happened the way she says, that's not just crossing a line. That's erasing.